Godzilla animation? Procreate Dreams? Need I say more? We're about to unleash some serious kaiju mayhem. Get ready for a step-by-step tutorial that will transform your iPad into a serious monster-making machine. Let's go. Okay guys, let's move on over to Procreate. I'll show you what I've got made up for you guys. So here I have a picture of Godzilla, or my version of Godzilla anyway. So let me show you the layers that I've got done right here. So I've got the water right there, which is going to be animating across the screen. I've got Godzilla all grouped up into all of its little pieces, and I'll show you what pieces I've got here. So I've got the eye grouped up with the little circle that goes around the eye and then the yellow eye itself. It is going to be animated. I've also got the upper head and the lower head on separate layers because they're going to be opening up, and when he screams and yells. I've got the upper arm and I've got the lower arm on different layers so that I'm able to animate it separately without having to do all of the rigging and stuff that you normally have to do with a animation program. And then I've got the body on its own separate layer, and that is about it. It's not much to it actually. So let's move over to Procreate Dreams and we'll get our file started. Okay, so to create a new file, you click on the little plus right there in the top right corner. You can scroll through all the screen sizes that you might want. I'm going to stick with widescreen, which I normally do, and hit empty. Okay, and now we need to set up our file the way we want it. So click on the title right there, which is Dreams and a number, unless you've renamed it to something else. So I will go into the top choice right there, which mine is a star. And we're going to change the frames per second to 12, which is frame by frame animation. The next thing we're going to do is change the duration. I'm going to probably start off with 10 seconds, and then if we need to shorten it later, we'll do that. So 10 seconds, and then on the 1 minute mark right there, click on that, hit the backspace, and it will get rid of that 1 minute. Alright, so we have 12 frames per second, 10-second animation, 1920 by 1080 HD. Let's hit done, and we're ready to go. Now what we need to do is we need to bring our files over from Procreate into Procreate Dreams, and I'll show you the easiest way to do that. So if you go into Gallery View, just like that, and then you hold down on the file until it moves around. Don't pick your finger up, get out of that program, go into Dreams, and then drop it right in there just like that, and it will import it in for you. There are other ways of doing it, but I found this to be the easiest way to do it. And as I usually say, the files that you brought in are exactly the same size as the stage right there. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get it perfectly in there without having some little white edges on it. So what I can do is just grab a corner and then upsize it just a tiny bit, and that way it will fill in there a lot easier. Alright, so I think about right there is good. Okay, and now what we need to do is, you can see our file that we brought in here, and it is just a picture file. So if we hit play, it's not going to do anything, so because pictures don't move, and we need to do that ourselves. So what we're going to do first is long press on your file here and hit convert layers to tracks. That way it will create a group. You can see right here it's created a group, and if you click on the little arrow right beside it, it will open it up, and then we'll have all of our layers that we had over in Procreate. Okay, so the first thing I think I want to do is get that water moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that water right there, and I need to make it a little bit longer because we need to animate it going across the screen horizontally. So right now it's not going to be moving very much because it's almost just the same size as the screen. So what I'm going to do is going to take this and I'm just going to stretch it out to make that water a little bit longer. And then what we'll do is we'll move that water over there to the right until you don't want to show it like right there. So we're going to move it until it's about right there. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a keyframe, so hit click on the little clacker there, hit move, move and scale, and then we're going to take and put it all the way at the very end here, and then we're going to move that water over some. Let me see, about right there. You see how slow that's moving, and I can see already that we need to long press on our, you see under your main water track it creates a new track for the keyframes. We need to hit set all easings and hit it to linear. So yeah, if you just long press on it, you'll get that set all easings. So what that does is it keeps the speed the same from beginning to end. Alright, let me see how that water looks. I think it's good. We could speed it up just a little bit more. So how you would do that is just click on that last keyframe over there and just move that water a little bit more over to the right. Now let's see, it'll move just a little bit faster now. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Alright, so that's our first animation done. The next thing I want to do is probably move our Godzilla. So I'm going to move him all together. So first thing we're going to do is click on it, hit move and move and scale. And I want him to start off of the screen. So we're just going to take Godzilla and move him over until he's not on the screen at all. So that will be his beginning point off the screen. And I think I'm going to use the performance mode for the bringing him onto the screen, and performance mode just records your finger movement as you're moving your assets along. So what we'll do is hit the little record button, which is the little circle right there, and you can see up here it says ready. And all we're going to do is we're going to grab that Godzilla file, and as soon as we start moving it will start recording. So I'm going to kind of bounce him up and down as if he's walking. And I'm going to stop him right there in the center. Alright, so let me see what that looks like. We're going to hit done. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright, let me see. I might want to make him up a little higher so we can see our boat. Let me see that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so all I did was change that last keyframe where he's up a little bit higher. We don't want to do it too high because we don't want to show the bottom of him. So we're just going to do it about right there. Alright, that is good. He comes out on the screen. I'm going to move him back just a bit. About right there. Okay, the next thing he's going to do is he's going to let out a big roar. But you know what? I think before I do that, I'm going to make his arms move. So we need to go into the Godzilla group now. So I'm going to click on the little arrow just like we did the main group. And I want to go to the arm. We should have two arms here. We have an upper arm and a lower arm. You can see the upper arm here and the lower arm looks like the ship right there. So what I'm going to do is as he's walking out on the screen, I'm going to have his arm kind of go, can't show the screen right here, but going up and like this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is for the upper arm I'm going to set an initial keyframe, which we normally do. We set a baseline, okay, just like that, and then we're going to have him come over, and you know what, we'll probably do that on the bottom one too. So just move and scale, set a baseline, and then as soon as our Godzilla arm gets on the screen right there, so we're going to have that lower arm move out a bit. Alright, so we're going to set another baseline keyframe right there without any movement whatsoever, and then come over just a bit, click on it again, and now we're going to move it out. Alright, and then we're going to do the same thing on the top one, and you can kind of see just about where, so you can see just about where the other keyframe was at. If we go up there and click on it, and then we go up from that one up there and click on it. Okay, and now this one we're going to move, we're going to rotate it. So hit the three little dots there. I'm going to hit our anchor point. We're going to make it rotate from this shoulder right there and hit done. Then now if I click on a corner here, I can rotate it out. Alright, and I'm going to move that arm down here where it'll match a little bit more. Now you can see it juts out. So if you're enjoying the content, I have a small favor to ask that makes a huge difference. Subscribing to my channel is like giving a virtual high five, and it means the world to me. When you hit that subscribe button, you're not just supporting the channel, you're joining an incredible community of awesome people who love art just as much as you do. Imagine being part of something bigger where every view, like, and comment helps us grow and reach more awesome folks just like you. Plus, subscribing is super easy. It's just one click, but that one click has a ripple effect, helping me create more content, bringing new ideas to life, and spreading positivity all around. And hey, in the spirit of kindness, how about this? Subscribe and then go out and do something nice for someone today. Hold the door open for a stranger, leave a kind note for a coworker, or simply smile at someone who looks like they need it. Let's make the world a bit brighter together. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and let's make amazing things happen. Thank you for your support. You're the reason this channel exists. That's exactly what we wanted. And now we're going to have it jut back in. So we're going to come over just a little bit more. Hit it. Have it rotate back down. And then we'll go down here. Move and scale. And we'll have the arm match back up with his elbow. So now it should be byoom, byoom, just like that. Alright, and then we're going to do it one more time. Oops. Alright, and then we'll have it come back into its resting position. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. Yep, that's perfect. And then he's going to stop. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make him open his mouth and he's going to let out a big yell. So we need to go to where the lower head and the upper head here is, which is just above the upper arm, the lower arm. So right there, and he's going to stop. Alright, and we're going to set a baseline move and scale like we usually do. We're going to go up here and set a baseline up here also. Move and scale. Alright, and then we're going to have him open his mouth. So I'm going to come over a bit. We're going to click on those three dots, set an anchor point in the top right corner probably. Hit done. And now we can open that mouth up. Just about right there. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. I think we need to set our anchor point first. We'll set that one in the lower right corner. Hit done. Now we can open that one up. And we need to move the eyes because the eye stayed in its same position. So let's go. Let's set a move and scale. Don't move it at all, and then when we move the eye up to about right there, so it should move when the head opens up together. Yeah, there we go. You know what, we probably should put them in the same position, that way it won't look so strange. So I'm just going to match those two keyframes with the same position so it'll move together. There we go, that's perfect. Okay, alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to make a tongue. And I did not make this prior to doing this, so we're going to draw it. So this tutorial is going to show you about all the different aspects of what you can do with Procreate Dreams. So we've moved assets that we already created, and now we're fixing to draw some new assets. So what I'm going to do is, I probably want it maybe under my head. So I'm going to click on that upper arm right there, and I'm going to hit plus and add a new track. It should create a new track right on top of the upper arm. And then when he opens his mouth, so all the way open, now we're going to make a tongue. So I'm going to hit the drawing mode with just a little squiggly line there. And I'm going to choose a red color for his tongue. Right there is good. And the brush, the monoline is fine. Alright, let's make this bigger so we can see it better. We're going to do a tongue out like that. It's going to be kind of wavy. And then we're going to do another one. So you're just going to come over one frame. And you can see the onion skin of where our other one was. And we want this one to be just a little bit different. And then the same thing. And this one's going to be a little different. You want to make each one of them different. You know what? It's getting confusing because we're showing a lot of the onion skin. So what I want to do is click on the little numbers right there. We're going to edit our onion skin. And we're going to show the frames to only one. Alright. And then we should be done. It's not showing me any. Show onion skin. Oh, it's on 1. It's on 0. Okay, we're going to keep it on 1. There we go. And 2-finger undo that little thing. Now, okay, so it don't get all confusing as to which our last one was. So now we can see our very last one. Okay, so now we can make it a little bit different. Oops, I'm on eraser for some reason. Or no, we changed our color back to blue, which is the background. So I'm going to click on that red again. Come over. If you guys hear some noises in the background, there are workers down below me, and they're making drill noises, so I apologize for that. That one I didn't like. It didn't be much different. Here we go. The good thing about having the onion skin on is if you go over too many frames, it'll disappear completely, so you'll know you're not on the next frame. When you can see it, you'll know you're on the exact next frame. Alright, let me see what that looks like. I think that's good, maybe. Maybe make it a little bit longer. Maybe one more. Maybe 2 more. Alright, and then you can see how it's like moving. So because we did each one a little bit different. Perfect. Alright. We get out of drawing mode. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to close his mouth again. So what we need to do is go to the head up here. So we're going to set a initial keyframe in the position that it's in now. And we're going to come over a little bit. Click on it again. And then we're going to close that mouth. And the same thing up here. Set the initial. Come over. Oops. Right there. Alright, and we need to move that eye again. So when the set the initial. And then hey. Done. Okay, we'll move that eye back down. Let's see. Here we go. Alright, that's it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have him walk off the screen. Alright, so what we can do is we can do that performance mode again. So I'm going to close our Godzilla group, which is right here. Click on the arrow. That's all closed up. And then when he finishes his yell and closes his mouth, we're going to set a keyframe right there. And then from there, we're going to click on performance mode. It's ready for us to move it, and then we'll have him walk off. And that's it. Hit done. Let's see what that looks like. And he walks off the screen. Alright. Now what we need to do is, next thing I want to do is I want to have him blink. So we're going to open up our Godzilla group again. We're going to go into the eye. So open up the eye group. And then we have the circle, and then we have the yellow part. We're not going to mess with the circle, only the yellow part. And we're going to choose that green color right there, the dinosaur green color. And the way I like to do this is, let me see, where, I think as he's walking on the screen, we're going to have him blink a couple of times. So maybe right here, I am going to click on that eye, hit edit, split the track. So that way this part right here will never change. And then this part right here is going to change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the plus and add a new track on top of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw through that eye. And then the next frame, we're going to take it all the way out, and then it's going to pop back open. So that's going to be a blink. So let me open that up. I'll show you what it looks like. Yep. Blink. Very good. And I think I want to do it one more time, maybe right here. So again, okay, and then he's going to yell. Alright. And I think I want his eye to, when he starts yelling, I want it to kind of squint a bit. So what I'm going to do is the same thing like we did to blink and blink. So when he starts yelling about right here, I'm just going to have him squint a bit. I'm got to go in the drawing mode first. Oops, I did too much. Let's do that one more time. So about right that. Okay, and then I'm going to stretch this out so it'll be the same until he finishes yelling, which is about right there. So I'm going to stretch it out all the way to there. And then he's going to open it back up. Okay, so again, let me see. Hit done. Yep, perfect. Okay. And now let's see what we need to do. When he walks off, we need to get those arms swinging again. So we're going to go back to the upper arm and the lower arm. Then when he starts to walk again, right there, we're going to set a keyframe. We're going to come over a bit, and then we're going to have that keyframe rotate out. And then the bottom one too. Move and scale. That one right there. Move out to match the elbow. So out. Okay, and then it's going to come back in. Rotate it back to the body. And then this one down here. Move him to match. And then we're going to have it come over. And the same thing. Rotate out. Down here. match up with that. Again, back. Maybe one more time, or 2 times. And then he's going to disappear. Alright guys, that is it. I hope this tutorial has helped you out. I will leave the final animation at the end of the video like I always do, with all the sound effects added to it to make it look really cool. So if you're interested in getting the assets to this, they are over on my Patreon page. If you join Patreon, it will be about $5, I think, for a month's membership, and you can get all of the assets for both of my YouTube channels. The channel does art, and also the Scribble and Scribe, where I do actual paintings, so you can get the sketches and stuff like that. But if you're interested, go check that out. I'll put the link on the screen right now, and I will see you guys next week for another Procreate or Procreate Dreams tutorial. Take care, and thanks for joining me. See you.